Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Line, and I will be right back. Right. As mentioned, I was One Line, and I am now right back. Pleasure to meet you. So, hi, welcome in. It's Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. Hope you're having a fantastic and wonderful day so far. I've been keeping busy as per usual. Hanging out on people's streams as well. Don't mind me, just out of breath. Closing that. Pushing this magic button over here. Going over here. Clicking on this magic button in here. All right, so hi. Fridays on this channel are community days. Community day. And what that means is I invite you into Discord voice channel to have a verbal conversation about whatever topic. Let me catch my breath. Whatever topic you want to talk about that is relevant to the channel and, still honors Twitch's terms of service and is still mindful, respectful, blah, 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 all the fun stuff. So feel free to hop into a voice channel in Discord if you do want to have a verbal conversation. Your voice will carry through onto the stream. And just so you know, I do post VODs to YouTube. So if you're not comfortable with that, you can still participate in Community Day simply by chatting, as per usual. So unless we get some interested members, interested parties. I can't word right now. Who have topics or conversations. I don't have any topics in particular that I want to bring up today. There are days that I do. There are days that I don't. Today's one of the days that I don't. So what I'll be doing is working on the Blazor bot remake. So we currently have a bot that's listening to Twitch, that's listening to this channel, and whenever we send commands to it, this is the thing that will process those commands. Like we have a couple new ones, one for TBD, who already came in, except when I'm dyslexic, TBD, who was here already and is lurking because he's in stand-up or meeting or whatever. And we have one for Tyndall, who is an amazing app developer that you can catch streaming. Usually on Tuesdays, I believe, but this week he did Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, if I recall. Hold on one more second. Note to self, choose a better pre-stream snack. Let me change out my marquee for this one. Nope, this one. All right, so this is our current bot. It has a page for the Discord bot, which is currently Broken Sword's bot that he made for us 2 years ago, maybe 3 years now. That has not been fully functional. It's been a little bit weird with the way that it announces stream starts and ends, and now it doesn't even announce stream starts anymore. But we're gonna add that to the overall bot. The remake is going to be open source and available for anyone who wants to see the code for it and contribute, of course. The game view is the archery game, which if you check in the redemptions, you will now see that I put a new icon on it. Oh, man. And so that looks like this when you redeem it. Oh, right. We don't want this one to send the responses. Okay, so you can see now that the one that is supposed to be working, which is this one here, is not working. So let's see if we can get that reloaded. Back to the welcome screen. Redeem archery. Redeem. There it goes. Okay. Thank you. President Not Sure, happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for playing that. I miss that sound. It needs to happen more often. So anyway, you can see that there are two now, one that's in the browser and the target is set at a different distance than the one that is actually here. So hard to point at things. It's my walk-on music. Yes. I'll take it. But you will be able to shoot. And we're gonna go for a big gamey shot this time. 40-20. Oh, one of them was close, the other was not. Let's see if I can get both of them. So this one just needs to be up by a little for the in-browser version. Nope, I missed. Too far. Whatever. So I'm not going to get both. Let's see if I can get one of them. Nope, missed both. Boo. But there you go. That's the archery game. You can see here that it is generating messages, and they tend to be different each time. And that's because I am running an LLM on a networked computer. And if you send a message to Automated Realms, which is the bot for our stream, it will respond to you based on LLM response stuff. It's using the Bloke Mistral Open Orca, which is a 7 billion or 13 billion. I don't remember. Maybe it's a 7 billion parameter model. It's a 7 billion parameter model, I just checked. Happy Community Day. And then it responds. It's great to see you celebrating Community Day. Remember, it's all about having fun and enjoying the game. Which game? The game we're playing is called Arrow Shooting Challenge. It's a fun game where you have to shoot arrows at a target, trying to get as close to the center as possible. You get 3 chances to hit the target, and your best score is recorded. So as you can see, it does have context, so it holds context every message. And even though it doesn't respond to every message, it still adds it to its list of context messages, and it will use the history to generate somewhat reasonable responses. And so if I needed to inject anything into that context, I would do it here, and I would say my company's name is, and this is information that I haven't given it yet, which is what you are named after. And I have been full-time self-employed since mid-May, I think. In case anyone asks. It's great to hear about your company. So if anyone happens to ask it about how long I've been operating Automated Realms as a full-time thing, it will be able to tell you. So that's that. Anyway, so that bot is currently in Blazor using .NET 6, I want to say, maybe .NET 7, and it is a mess. And so what I was wanting to do during our community day streams, at least in the background, which I have failed at doing, is recreating it from scratch. Recreating it from scratch in Blazor and having it be open source. So that's what this project is. And where we have gotten so far is I am losing track of my brains because I'm still thinking about the latest issue that I was running into with the application that I'm working on during the day, or my work stuff. So what we started off with is creating all of the abstract classes we need for all of the services that we need. Repeating myself. And those are the overall bot service, and then we're going to have a Discord bot and a Twitch bot and maybe a YouTube bot, if there's even a such thing. But the point is, one primary bot service, which kind of seems like so the bot itself is going to be an engine. I think that's what I was thinking about doing, thinkingly. The bot's going to be an engine, and you can invoke any of the commands from Twitch, Discord, YouTube, wherever else we happen to create a connector for. And so far, the only thing that we have is get bot response. But we can also do other things, like make the bot do things and stuff. Oh, I am winning today. For example, we might get a chat message, and that chat message is going to be formatted in a specific way, which is going to have a string, username, not nullable, and I think that I am actually going to use the required, what are these called? Keywords? And that way, whenever we instantiate an object, we can only ever set the username. We can't change it after it's created. And we must set the username when we instantiate the object. So we have username, we have the message that they sent. Now the problem is that this is going to be platform agnostic. So do I want to keep track of the source platform? Was it Discord? Was it Twitch? Was it YouTube? think I do. So that's going to go in our enums. But if I do it this way, then that means every single bot that I create, every single connector is going to have to be added into this. And every single time we add a new one, we need to remember to update the enum, unless we start now and start adding a source generator that will create enums. Which I think I can do. So let's do it like this. Public class source platform attribute is an attribute that is used on classes and it's going to have a property called source platform. Nice. Source platform. And oh yeah, I like this. I like this. So let's see if we can add it to TwitchBot service, for example. Oh, but that sucks because what I was gonna do is Dukabot and Dukasoft are online. Dad yoke. Every night at 11:11, I make a wish that someone will come fix my broken clock. Why'd it have to be 11:11? I was about to quote something about getting inspiration from microwaves, but so the issue with this is that the source platform would need to be defined before I add the attribute if I'm doing it this way. And the intent is to create the enum as I'm using source platform. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is say I platform service. And I'm gonna have Twitch. Yeah, I need to get rid of this for now. Twitch and Discord. And if we happen to create a YouTube one. So I'm not going to create the YouTube one now. Yes, platform has sauce. I'm not going to create a YouTube one now so that we can test out the source generator once we logic through it. And we will logic through it. Okay, so every iPlatform service is going to have these events at minimum. That does not seem right. We want the events of because like there's only going to be one primary signal R connection, signal R hub connection, and that's what these hub connections are supposed to be. And so that is for any client that is running the application to receive messages. the hub. I know. Wait, you're over here? Oh, you are over here. So what? Anyway, how have you been, Dukasoft? It's community day, so even though I'm thinking through this, feel free to bring up whatever topic you want, and we will discuss it. There's absolutely nothing that has to get done, and yeah. So I know at minimum I want these 3. And maybe, yeah, here's what I'll do. I'll keep those in a separate thing, but where am I going to put that? Salad. I love bot day. Bot day's the best. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I want to create our signal R. How do I want to do that? Oh man. So the thing that I have in mind is this. I'm gonna create one file real quick called iSignalR service. And I want the interface iSignalR server service. Although I think it's the client that I want. Okay, so the server service is going to have different things. I don't think it's going to have this. But the Signal R service is going to be the thing that defines all of the things that we can do with our Signal R hub client thing. Is he back? How do you know? How do you know he's back? Anyway, shout out to TBD Gamer. He streams Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, which is UTC -4 currently. And on Mondays and Tuesdays, he streams game dev using Godot. He's trying to learn Godot so he can make his dream game. It's pretty fun to watch. It's really cool. He's making a top-down shooter, one of my favorite types of games. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he works on Liquid Sky, a project management app. I've already forgotten what it's called. Project planning app, which I believe is the term that he's been using more often. And he also does Water Drink Water. So Water Drink Water is a community app that he has going on, community software development application done in Blazor, where you can contribute. And I believe that I kept the URL for it in the TBD game. I did not keep the URL for it. Not even in my TBD Gamer shout out. Ops. He'll have to tell us what it is when he gets back. If he gets back. There's absolutely never a requirement or expectation. So you understand what I'm trying to do here though, right? I want one. It's pretty much like Protobuf? gRPC. Yeah, I think they're called protobufs, right? A protobuf that says, here are the methods that you can call, and here are their responses, and that's going to be implemented on the client side one way and on the server side the other way. So yeah, this is going to be our list of stuff. Why am I doing private? And hello, Mojo. So there are a million billion trillion packs with that. I've been doing nothing but watching machine micro videos first, because that's the first one that I know that I'm going to be using. And it's pretty complicated. But Let me see if I can show you this. All of the million, billion, trillion packs, sound packs. Some of these are ones that I downloaded before that were free packs, because like I said, I haven't bought anything. We haven't even talked music yet. This is the first we're talking music. Yeah, an FM8. I can't believe it comes with FM8. I used to preview FM7 back in the day. So having FM8 is exciting. I also think it has battery 4. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It has battery 4, guitar rig 5, and 7. Oh, that's the actual player. That's cool. Irish Harp was another free one, but there are so many. Yeah, and all of these were updatable. Every single one of them. Which blows my mind. I cannot believe how much stuff came with that. So I can't say thank you enough. This is just crazy. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do anything at all when I'll just be listening to all of the samples and figuring out what I like and don't like. And I probably won't get anything done for at least a year. This is insane. Craziness. I don't know how many of these packs came from that subscription, but yeah, jeez. This is crazy. So we'll have fun with that in the future though. As soon as I figure out how to make it work, how to do stuff with it. It'll be grand. Proceed. Engage. Hicks law. The time it takes to make a decision increases with the number and complexity of choices. I like that law. And it's a law. It's like a for real law. Not a theorem. Not a anything. Wow. Lawsofux.com. It's .com. So yeah, I want this to kind of be like my protobuf where I define the methods that you can call. And so I just don't know what those are at the moment. But we are in that planning phase, in that design phase. So we can come up with whatever we want and we can add them to this. And we got here from deciding that we're going to have one overall platform service. And that platform service is going to have on connection closed. So instead of hub, we're going to have on connection closed, on connection reconnecting, on connection reconnected, and on connection connected. And so I am going to mandate that every single platform service that we create, for example, TwitchBot service, and I am actually going to do it like this. Oh man. Don't eat popcorn before streaming. Bad idea. But it was my snack for the day, and it's what I ate. And so I got popcorn kernels in my teeth, stuck in my throat. Okay, so our platform service is going to have these specific things, which means that for Discord, for Twitch, they are going to have to also implement on connection closed, on reconnecting, have these events in them. And if anyone, TBD Gamer, has a better messaging system that I could use in place of these regular events that I just sit and listen for, feel free to let me know, and I will do my best to incorporate them. Simple messaging service. Like for texts? Ding ding. So remember that this is going to have multiple clients. Oh, short message. This is going to be this is supposed to be on the server, and wait, no, this is oh yeah. Okay, that's right. This is supposed to be on the server, homing pigeon, on the server. And the Twitch bot and the Discord bot services. I am not thinking this out very well, am I? What do you do? What am I supposed to do? You just look at other people's examples. Why are you trying to reinvent it from scratch? I don't know, but I'm having trouble wanting to look at other people's examples right now. Like, I'll look at the thing that Dukasoft gave us. Well, do I still have access to it, Dukasoft? When I am implementing the actual Discord bot, keep it simple. Okay. So we will use that when doing the Discord bot, but it was Discord bot, right? But as far as setting up the overall application itself, when we're thinking about what the server should be doing, then we know that the server will be the thing that is connected to and listening to the actual server or stream or whatever the service is. So it'll be connected to the Discord channel, Discord server, and listening for messages and then responding to them. But the client, when we're thinking about the client, that's connecting to this application living on the server. Excuse me. Listening to, we'll be connecting to this, which is running on a server, and the client will say, all right, the only thing I care about are messages that are coming from Twitch, or specifically the game messages that are coming from Twitch. Oh man, sneezing, am I right? Okay, so here we are again. We have it. I kind of just want to implement that now. I just want to lift your code and put it in here. Where's my browser that is supposedly on this screen? I don't think I have one. Okay, come with me. Yeah, Discord interactions. And I think we did go ahead and reference here the discord.net that you recommended to us. Yeah, I don't mind either. I am not here to judge your... What is that? I'm kidding. I'm not here to judge your code. But you know what you could do with this? Oh man, hold on. It's gonna take me a second to come back. Mojo says, I had my quarterly review today and I was told I'm being geared up to lead a team as a product manager. Hello, Max. I'm Violet Dragon. That is, well, is that something that you want? But also, congratulations on having positive feedback. That does sound like a positive feedback type of thing. Yeah, congrats if you want it. Exactly what Dukasoft said. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. And just because I have the floor, you also asked about bass guitar, right? Problem is, this bass guitar it's so flippin' heavy. This bass guitar is custom made by me and my dad. So I don't know very much about guitars and where to find them. But it's got 2 double humbucking pickups, both with tone and volume. And then a 3-way switch. Oh. President Not Sure is a bass player though, so you can ask him. I do have a practice bass guitar, but that was like, I think I bought it from Amazon. No, I might have bought it from an actual local music store. Pawn shop. It was a pawn shop. I used to shop at pawn shops. Oh, but that's from back in the day. I have not officially played bass guitar since about 2008, 2007. I used to play in a band. I've got a wood shop in the garage. Oh, how custom made? A kit or like, well, let me show you. I will show you how custom made. I think. Say the truth will set you free. What do you want from me? Does anyone know where I put this? I should not have sneezed. Sneezing is the worst idea I could have possibly chosen to do. Because, you know, I chose to sneeze. Oh my gosh, where are all of my... Is it this one? No, it's not. Work related? Doubtful. I should have a copy of my consolidated external drive files. Oh, is it on Thyrobius? Thyrobius. Hey, Thyrobius. Did I put that on? Yes, D:\/ father son bonding. Man, I don't want to do it this way, but it's going to be the easiest way for me to get to it. I keep saying I don't have a book face, but I do have a book face. I just don't use it. Where are the pictures? See all photos. Okay, we'll go with these. I uninstalled the book face from my phone. Never looked back. I never had it installed on my phone. So this is probably making the... Nope, this is the body. This is part of the body. That's my dad. That's my dad. He's still doing woodworking. He makes these horse jumps for Fort Riley. Or I guess now it's more than just Fort Riley, but he makes these horse jumps that are highly coveted. Some nice planing work. Here's the body template. This is him joining them. Polishing, or that's gluing them together. Sanding. Cutting out the template. And this is drumline. Beer pong. Rock band. More drumline stuff. More drumline stuff. BJ. Drumline. 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 This is Cash Hollister. I am right there. This dude here on drums is amazing, multi-talented. This is his brother, also really, really good singer. Cash Hollister, this was a large festival. Such a stern face. Should smile every now and then. My brothers. I so chunky. Place I used to work. Where did the other bass guitar picture go? So I have a picture of the bass guitar. This picture here. Where are you? Oh, my photos is what I was looking for. Okay, so this is the body after it got painted. It has this really, really dark, deep purple, and when you look at it straight on, you can see it a little bit lighter. It does have a slight burst, but it's not a big sunburst, because the entire guitar, if you moved it in the light, would be this color. It's so nice. Place I used to live. Yeah. So that's the guitar after it was assembled with the humbucking pickups, the 4 knobs, the 3-way switch. Yeah. It was a lot of fun building that with my dad. Oh, this was with only primer on it. That is me with cornrows. Yeah, so there you go. And a bunny. A bunny that was nesting in our yard. So that's my book face. Okay, so I'm going all the way back up. I'm just an idea guy. Ideas guy, says Mojo. And if it's the only way to make product not feel engineered, then yes, absolutely. All of the ideas with none of the work. So yes, you do want that position. That's awesome. That showed you how custom made it was. It was completely from scratch. We ordered all of the parts. The knobs we chose the tuning knobs and the control knobs. And the actual potentiometers. DFlux is here. How much wood do you have in your shop? How much wood do you have in your wood shop? As much as a woodchuck could. Dukasoft says, I have a crappy electric guitar, pretty fun with Rocksmith. That's what I have. A Rock Band 3 guitar that I used with Rocksmith. It's not very good because the way that you do pitch bend is by pulling on the neck, and so it loses tune very, very easily. But it still works as an electric guitar. And then I have an acoustic guitar as well that can be plugged in. Sneeze chooser. Boo. Slap it on a Nas. Yeah, I don't know where I put the backup images. That's Nightshade backup. So no, not there. I don't know where I put all of my backup images. Maybe they're still on the external hard drive, which is no longer plugged in because it's spinny disk. Oh, Mojo did some drumline in wherever. Were you in high school, college? Fifth bass, then snare. I did bass from my freshman year of high school through my seventh year of college, and then I was like, I need to focus on graduating. So I've pretty much played every bass except for bass 1. Yeah, I played every bass except bass 1. And we were a 5. We had 5 basses. I hope your dad is still using that Sears table saw. Oh man, he is still going. Those things are amazing and last forever. Yeah, so I lived in Junction City with them from 92 until about 2007 or 8. Or I guess I didn't really live with them, but I visited them often in the later 2000s, so after I started college. And he's had it since maybe like the 3rd year. Aw. It's too short. Anyway, thanks for the bits. And no, I have never dropped my bass, except for the time that I didn't put it on my harness all the way. Oh man, that hurt. And I've only had 1 major accident. Nope, 2. One of them was during a parade, and we were moving. I think it was after the parade. We were walking through a building that we were supposed to perform in, and no one told me. I was carrying Big Bertha, bass 5. No one told me there was a trash can directly in front of me, and I was just walking, and then I smashed my knees against it. Anyway. And then the second time was during an actual pregame show. We were about to run on to line up, and there was a pylon. A flippin' pylon. They never have the pylons in the end zone before pregame, and I tripped on it and rolled over my bass. It was so bad. So bad. It hurt so much, but I still had to march. Oh my goodness. As a 5th bass, I feel like people would just watch you run into things like it was the Truman Show. I rarely ran into stuff. I was pretty proud of that too. What I'm not proud of is our post-game, like in high school, our post-game shenanigans. So as I'm walking back from the football field back to the school, to the band room, as we were walking through the parking lot, we would line up, do 4 duts and a slam, and set off as many car alarms as we could. It was stupid, I know. It was annoying too. I regret doing that. We did it once inside after a basketball game. People did not appreciate it. I didn't love it. Looking back on it, I really, really feel bad about doing that. Who knows if we ruptured someone's eardrums. Anyway, moving forward. Do I have a NOS? I have 1, 2, 3 external solid state drives. One of them is an M2 and an external casing. And they are all 2-ish. One of them is a 4 terabyte, the other 2 are 2 terabytes. And oh, and a 10 terabyte spinny scuzzy disk thing in an external case. I have a computer whose hard drive crashed that I'm trying to, well, I was trying to restore the data from the external drive, but I wanted to reinstall an operating system on it anyway and just set it up in our utility closet where the wiring closet stuff is. But I really don't know what the requirements are for a NOS. Do I need to actually have a NOS system, or can I just use that broken computer and turn it into a NOS? Can I shadow? Yes, I really like Synology, in particular ArcLoader, that allows you to use any random PC as a NOS. You can use a regular PC with ArcLoader Synology. Yes, you can shut them out, and I am going to copy your message, paste it over here. I mean, what it sounds like to me is what I'm already doing, which all of my drives are shared across all of our network computers. So if I wanted to access the M2 external drive from that computer over there, I would just go to Thyrovius/DriveLetter. And then everything else is in Dropbox pretty much. Well, I say everything else, but like all of the VSTs for my DAW are, I have it on both computers. I use it. I got a couple 16 terabyte drives for less than $200 from Amazon. Cool. Are they scuzzy? These guys. Never gonna give their M2s. Interesting. Wow. What size are these? That's not telling me what size they are. It tells me the speed. I don't see anywhere that it says what size they are. Oh, those are just M2 adapters. PCIe to SATA 5. Okay. Oh my gosh. I am so blind. I see the picture now. Good grief. So this is what DFlux showed. And like I was looking at them like they were M2s, but I didn't actually see these ports. apps. And then the actual hard drive is Western Digital Solid States NAS drives. No, wait, these are SATA. Wait, what? Yeah, I wouldn't want. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what NASs are used for. Like, do people typically put files that are often accessed and modified on NAS storage? Because that's what I'm using my computers for, is stuff that I share between computers that I access just about everywhere. Mostly, I use Dropbox for that, but still. Like, there are some things that I keep on my local hard drives only and don't put on Dropbox that I modify between computers. Like but I wouldn't want a spinny disk for that kind of thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. Anyway, you can configure. You can have RAID config with an SSD hot swap space. Synology support has all that. Hello, Peter. NAS is for hoarding. That's what I'm already doing. But again, I just have external drives connected to USB across multiple computers and put data on it. Hello, good VJ. I used to be a digital hoarder, but I am reformed. Maybe you can teach some of us. You plug SATA into the adapter. Yeah. That's down to 150 bucks. So you can take an M2 slot on your mono and plug in 5 SATA drives into it. The thing is that the computer that's dead only has one M2 slot, and it's already filled with a 2 terabyte. And then the other computer has 2 M2 slots, but they are both filled with a 4 terabyte and a 2 terabyte. And then this computer has one, and it's also filled. The 2 terabyte. And they are one of them on each of them is the primary system drive. So I wouldn't want to change that out at least. For me, it's just the RAID means I do not have to worry about a disk going bad. You really don't have to at me. I'm reading every message, I promise. I see red. I mean, you can use regular PCIe SATA cards too. Screw you. Just remember, RAID is not backup. Yeah. Well, and it also, geez. No, we're not getting a new hard drive. They're just telling me that I should use a NAS instead of my 3 or 4 external hard drives. And what is this one for? Like, I'm happy with my setup at the moment. Yeah. Like, it would be nice. Oh, you said your M2 slot was taken. Yes. It is. Yeah, I don't even know what my PCIe availability slots look like either. You're about to get timed out. Oh man. The NAS setup is a rabbit hole, to be fair. So it most likely just depends on what rabbit holes you want to sign up for. Well, I probably don't need it because my computers are all networked together and they all have access to each other's hard drives. I could set up RAID on those computers as is if I wanted to. I could set up replica or whatever it's called, replication on the computer that I'm planning on putting in the storage closet, utility room, whatever it's called. Yeah, and it would be nice to have one place for all of the all of my repos is what I'm trying to say. So I am constantly switching from that computer to this computer, and I am either logging in through Jump Desktop to that computer if I'm in the middle of work and I'm at this computer, or I do a check-in before I'm ready to do a check-in and then check it out on this computer. So if I just have it all in one storage location, which I can do, again, I can do, then I would. I just need to actually do it. You know? And hello, Solo Solipsist. Shout out to Solo Solipsist, who is a developer extraordinaire working in mixed reality, as I'm looking at the screen. Oh, I hope I spelled your name right. He usually streams on Fridays, pretty close to the end of this stream. I am looking at you, I promise. He works in amazing tech. So Naz's rabbit hole, I need more storage and looked into it a bit. Yeah, and I don't really need more storage as it is, because not only do I have those M2 drives that are 4 terabyte and 2 terabyte, I also have a whole bunch of SSDs, and like I said, those 4 external. I don't know how many it is. Almost. Almost. Oh. Close. Okay, my favorite kind of stand-up, nobody to report to. Just a good chat about software practices and with a colleague. Oh, geez. Well, welcome back from your stand-up. So one of the cool things I like is Synology does have its own app integration feature, and they support .NET, so you can run things like a Git server on the NAS. I could do dev spaces or dev drive, is that what it's called? But again, I can do that with just a networked computer without needing it to be a NAS. And isn't it technically a NAS if it's a hard drive that I can access from any other computer that I can map? Nice try, good VJ. Mojo says to DFlux, you should run a hypervisor because I think you'll get lost in the endless possibilities, not NAS specific. LLMs take up a huge amount of space. I'm kind of afraid to see what my I have the stable diffusion models on. No, you're supposed to go to Jump Desktop, Aerobius. My stable diffusion models are on this drive here, which you guys can't see because I'm not showing you that computer ever. So the size of my stable diffusions models folder is, nope, that's the entire automatic 1111, but may as well just give you that number because the majority of it is either the stable diffusion models or LoRa's or textual inversions, which don't take up that much space, but it's over 570 gigs and still climbing. My text LLM stuff, which is in this local LLMs folder, is, oh wow, Surprising. Maybe some of them are in my Pinocchio folder. Yeah, there we go. Okay. A combination of, yeah, it's somewhere around 30 gigs. And that's all on the same drive. And that's gonna get bigger. Yay. I like my Synology NAS. It's in my bedroom and it's pretty quiet. Yeah, I would keep mine just in the closet where one of the routers is. The router that I don't use for Wi-Fi. There's kind of data burnout in AI, ML, LLM industry, I have read somewhere. Describe what you mean by data burnout. Like, I know that it's bloated, so you generate stuff, and how often do you delete generated images that you do on local storage or in the cloud or whatever? Peter said, I just realized you can justify a NAS by saying it will be used for AI model training, and who knows, anything can be used for model training, in theory. Allegedly. DFlux said, you can use a NAS as a network drive. You can also run one of the coolest .NET projects I know, which is Jellyfin. Jellyfin is a free software media system that puts you in control of managing and streaming your media. So that's another thing. It's like, I don't have my own media anymore. Like back in the day that a lot of us come from, we downloaded MPEGs and MP3s and videos and stuff. Nowadays we have streaming services and you rarely have to download music, whatever. If you have WAV files, if you have audio files or whatever, it's because you're doing some kind of development or you are generating them using AI or whatever. But music, a lot of people use streaming services since you can access just about all music in the world. Looks like almost all of data present on the internet has been used to train the model. Oh, okay. So there is nothing left to train models on? Is that what you're saying? Because everything's already been used? Which will allow your NAS to become a media server that you can stream all your media across the house. Yeah, that's called Netflix. It does look cool, but I just don't have a need for it personally. I guess, yeah, no, I don't have a need for it. With the rising cost of streaming services, I feel like we're going to be seeing the more pirate flag, seeing more pirating. The word "the" threw me off for a second. I think there's so many. So I told you to tell me when you're in the waiting room. So if you guys are actually wanting to come into the stream room, let me know in chat and I can pull you in. I started sailing the high seas after building my server, but I won't say it. Can't words today. But I won't say anything more. Like, it's not that much hyped when the .com bubble got hyped a moment ago, NFT was in hype. A moment later, new things will create hype. Enjoy your foods. See you on your stream if you're streaming today. Oh, so just on text. That's what you meant. I thought you were going to stop to eat, which is completely understandable, doable, allowable. All right, DFlux, I am pulling you into the room in 5, so you can have a delay so that you can mute the stream and be pulled in for 3, 2, 1. A mic check, please.
Microphone check 1, 2.
Oh, I need to turn you up.
Oh, in fact, I need to turn me up. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm up.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. No, I think I thought I was playing with my microphone earlier. Maybe I should turn myself down.
Oh, no. I got you.
Nice.
It was me.
The lag is surprisingly good today. You counted all the way. I heard you say 1 before I got pulled in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I reduced my rate, my bit rate, so that it stays under 6,000 from now on, because apparently Twitch has problems when you go over 6,000.
Interesting. Well,
so that was probably causing instability.
So test success.
Test success.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm pumped. I think I shared in the Discord. I got a new job, starts in about a week or so.
Yes, congratulations.
Right? And this is doing Blazor, but I am also doing, new to me, Visual Basic as well, VB. They have a ton of stuff in VB. So that's what they're trying to get out of VB into Blazor, basically, sounds like.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yep, it's gonna be awesome stuff. So yeah, they have a lot of VB and they're gonna be moving it to Blazor. I'm gonna obviously be helping them out doing that. It does sound like, I'm not gonna lie, in the interview I was like, oh, this is a little bit of a dumpster fire. Right, in terms of the guy was talking about, well, it's it's something to do. But no, the guy was talking about the data structure that they have, and they said, we've got a lot of databases where we don't have any foreign keys or anything set up. And I'm like, oh. He's like, so we can't really use entity framework. And I'm like, oh. That was his logic as to why. He's like, you must be able to write stored procedures. I'm like, well, ChatGPT can write stored procedures, and I can use ChatGPT. So they hired me. What can I say? But no, I was almost waiting in the waiting room just to wait for a couple people to come along, because I know we never want to talk about politics, but I'm still consumed by the debate that happened yesterday. I was blown away about how bad that was. But we're not going to talk about that. I was trying to wait for some, to get the conversation going, so I wouldn't immediately come in and just, default to the thing that's been on my mind. But no, Jellyfin is pretty awesome. I like it. It's basically, if people are familiar with Plex, and it's a branch of MB, all written in .NET, and you can check it out. I like it. I know a lot of people have. I have, I guess, for me, coming from a different country, like, I have the shows that I like, growing up from my childhood. They're not on Netflix, they're not on Amazon, whatever. So I just have my shows and the stuff that I like and the movies I like, and I have them in my little NAS downstairs. It's just a random computer that I had. I decided to get a couple of those M.2 things, plug in all the. I used to own a IT repair shop, right? So I had just a ton of 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte drives. So I had up to 26 drives. So I plugged them all in, and over time I've been buying every now and again one of those 16 terabyte drives and holding. I have a ridiculous amount of space now. I think I have 60 terabytes of empty space or something.
Jeez.
Which eventually I'll use. I promise myself. But so it is a little bit of a side project, a little bit of a thing. But It is. I do really like the Synology has a whole suite that is basically built around, individual. It's like a small business suite. If you remember, was it Windows Small Business Server that had Exchange? They had everything in the one.
I mean, I wouldn't remember that, but I believe you.
You wouldn't remember it?
No.
Well, that was way back in the 2010s and 2009s. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been using it.
In Windows. Yeah. Well, so it reminds me of that. It's basically one man army for small businesses. Think of it like that. And so it has like all your typical tools. It has like note-taking tools, everything you might need to run a business without the cloud. You know, so that's pretty cool. That, you know, like say for instance, I have my phone. I want to automatically back up pictures on my phone. Yes, I could use Dropbox. I could pay a fee and use OneDrive and so on, or I could just use my own stuff without the cloud, and it works
Right.
just the same.
Yeah, except it's all on
So
the same site.
Well, yes, yeah, that is true, but that's that doesn't. I guess I was just saying that that's one of the reasons I like it, but it doesn't stop the fact that I also back up everything to the cloud. I have like a ton of storage on my OneDrive, and then I put everything on there. Same as it sounds like with your Dropbox. So, but a lot of people like to use Synology because they don't trust the cloud, or they don't like the cloud, or they don't want businesses don't want to be syncing their stuff over the internet, this sort of thing. Even companies still today like have like really slow internet connections, and they don't want to be having to be running everything through the cloud.
I do almost everything local. Well, dang, how do I put that? Like, I want all of the... Nope. Don't know where I'm going with that. I thought better of saying that.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, so that was kind of sort of my process. I was pretty similar to you, where I had like a 3 or 4 externals on my desk, and then on my wife's computer, I had 3 or 4 externals, sort of plugged in and shared, and this sort of thing, going back and forth. And I was like, why am I continually buying more USB drives to plug into my I got 2 hubs on my desk, and I was plugging into hub, why don't I just like bite the bullet? And eventually I got a NAS, and that's when I sort of realized this is very much a perfected technology in its own right. So that's why I say that Arc loader thing, you just like booting to Windows, you just load up a USB, you boot to the USB, run through the install, boof, you have a full-blown NAS system with the best tools out there. Well, not the best tools, but the market-leading tools. You might say Synology being the most popular tools out there. So it's a real no-brainer. And again, it's really cool because it supports things like Docker, right? So it supports things like .NET. So I can run SQL Server and everything on there, and make cool side projects. And it's really good at like running 24/7. You know what I mean? It's designed that way. But anyway.
Right. No, I mean, it makes sense for that use case, but again, I'm pretty stable where I'm at with the hard drive solution that I have, so I don't have a need for any of that stuff.
Yeah, my thing is I do worry about, I obviously got pictures from my childhood, Amiga and Apple kind of thing, family. I want to do everything I can to make sure I don't ever lose those. And so I don't know if you have like duplicate, or you have like one drive and you have like a 4 terabyte on this computer and a 4 terabyte on that computer with the exact same data, or
No.
what, but that's something that...
Yeah, I have OneDrive with all of my pictures, or not OneDrive. I have a external with all of the pictures, and Dropbox.
Yeah, I mean, Dropbox is pretty dang, that's their business, right? To not lose the data. Right. So in that way, you're pretty trusted. But even so, like on your local copy, just for the sake of like just buying a separate hard drive, putting in RAID makes so much sense. I mean, that little guy can do that for you quite easily. Little to no effort.
Mojo, mic check, please.
Mic check.
Hey, Mojo. Oh,
What's
and someone's randomly calling me at work.
So you said something to DFlux that I don't know if he saw.
Oh yeah, so I'm very much like pro small business. Well, he might be on a call, but I'm just gonna say it regardless.
I hang it
up. So like, I'm not gonna say I'm cheap. I may be frugal, but I like nice things, and working in small businesses for, I guess, the past, whenever my career started, there's always trade-off between trying to choose tools, and usually like the biggest like factor is always the cost. I mean, that's going to be like true for any business. However, like small businesses, I think, are hurt more than like big businesses because of like the setup and all of this other stuff, and then they can pick the perfect tool and just write the check. Whereas I just have constantly dealt with choosing this tool over this tool because of it has features X, Y, and Z, but feature Z is better on this other tool, which would be helpful to have in a better format. So I'm kind of that's the intention behind the CMS. It's my plan is to have it designed to be that all-in-one. Having used too many CMSs in my life, the perfect tool could exist, but I also want it to be open source, just because I'm very much open source.
Yeah, and obviously for me, I just had a background in supporting small businesses, so that's how I got to learn about masters and things.
When I started a marketing agency with my fiance last year, I think, maybe 2 years ago. And instead of most tools, other than like the really important like marketing analytics ones, most tools I just self-host. That's why I made the NOS. I was just like, I don't want to pay for G Drive, but I also don't want to store it on my computer and send files.
Keeping things low cost. That's what I like about what I learned with Azure, the ability to like make put something out in the cloud, have it be live, have it act like anything else, but it only cost me like $1 a month, or less than. I got really good at that. And then I obviously got employed by a company that really didn't care if it was $1 or $400 and said, can you give me the best version, which is the $400 version, and a lot more about that.
Yeah, and I wish I were as I don't want to say, I wish I could just like want to use Azure. My biggest concern is always just like I've heard way too many horror stories and don't want to go through the trouble of like accidentally running up a bill and then having to like contact Azure and be like, hey, like I can't afford this, I made a mistake, I won't do it again, I'm sorry. I've just heard too many of those stories that I'm like, I'm gonna self-host as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I will just share. I think they make it very easy. They're very transparent with their pricing. Their estimates are very accurate. I've never ever ran into a problem where I didn't get a bill I didn't expect, and I've used a lot of their stuff. I know AWS has had over the years even lawsuits around that topic for the way they did their billing, but Azure on the other hand, I'd say they're very upfront with what you're going to be paying for what you click on and say you want to buy. So you will run the risk of if you are if you pay for something that's pay as you go, and then you have tons of users and tons of usage, well then you'll end up paying for that. But ultimately, for most of the side projects that I do, I don't have tons of users, and so I'm never too worried about and the products that I do put out there are public. They have profit margins in them that pay for it, and so if I got more users, well then I will get more profit anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so TVD Gamer is saying with small businesses though, when it comes to technology, I feel it's important to understand the growth path. We can use technology A now, but when we hit a milestone, if we want to grow effectively, we need B. Businesses that go beyond small business often fail to grow evenly, and this is how monoliths are created. True.
I do agree with TVD's point on using technology A now and then switch to B. However, maybe I've just worked at companies where this has failed. It's always that there's always like stuff on the timeline that opportunity to switch is always put off, and it's actually something I'm dealing with like right now with our CMS at work. They're like, well, now we have to invest to switch it over, which there's already I've talked about having to like doing this rewrite as well. So like, which one do we pick? And it's always going to be on the back burner. But I mean, I do agree they need to switch. Everybody always needs to realize they need to switch. It's just with small businesses, there are less resources in my
Yeah,
few
I
experience.
I sort of really disagree with TBD on that milestone thing. I'm far more concerned with technology creep than I am. So put it this way: a lot of the businesses that I used to support in my small business, medium sized business, when I used to do that, a lot of those were small businesses on the point of what would it be called, like market scale or economies of scale. That is that the only way this business will operate is if you have no more than 30 employees and no less than 20. Right, they're in that pocket where you have this amount of work to do, you have this amount of contracts you can take on, but if you have too many employees, you can't compete, and if you don't have enough employees, you can't do the work. So there forever will be 30 employees working at that company until the underlying business changes. And then when the underlying business changes, well, then you have a different technology approach. But generally speaking, I never went into the business and said, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to install this, I'm going to make this happen for you. Just know if you hire too many people, this will stop working. I would never say that. I would much more rather say if your business fundamentally changes, or you have a fundamental different strategy to doing business, then let me know and we'll have a fundamental different strategy to technology. But I generally speak, most of those businesses, it's not they weren't growing, they were growing, but they were staying within the bounds of their marketplace, the sort of the space they had in the market. And so they were looking to put technologies that worked for their size, with the idea that was, with obviously wiggle room, but that was their size. But to go back to my original point, and though I did see very often a small business would have had a previous contractor or a previous company who would have like sold them on, like we went into one and they had like this was it Meraki Cisco NAS system, and they had like in the CEO's house they had like stacks of servers, and in like the top 10 employees all had their own Meraki router with like I think it was like 24 slots, and out of those 24 slots, one was plugged into their computer. In each of them, like, so they were sold like I think they were sold like enough equipment to plug in like 400 PCs for a company that had no more than 30 employees. And they're like, well, but it scales, they can grow. It's like they don't want to grow; they want to do their little business and go home at the end of the day. I remember opening up the closet in that business, and they had a dedicated closet for IT stuff they no longer needed, and they had shelves of just massive network equipment. I thought, is this like a corporate? I looked, because this was when I was first getting in there. Looked around, I was like, do you have other locations? Right, like I was thinking that maybe they had like this was their. Maybe I wasn't in like the top office, I was in like the regional office or something, and this was like, it's like no, this is just the stuff we use over the past 10 years. I'm like, so that's I guess I'm more concerned with businesses, IT people trying to sell people solutions to plan B when really they only want solutions to plan A.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big thing. I agree with that part of it. I still agree with TBD Gamer, but also yours, where people that are constantly pushing stuff you don't necessarily need to pay for, that you could host on your own, or that you could find other solutions for that don't require you to pay, or that you just don't need.
There's always a trade-off.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'll just my experience is those businesses can't afford. They just want something that worked for them, and if their business were to grow, that means that growth would they're in the growth. You find the extra budget needed to spend on additional. We want a bigger, larger network rack now, or whatever it might be. That's when that budget comes in. But prior to that budget coming in, you should always work within the budget that you've got. And so anyway, that's the trade-off. But I erred much more to simply making what the business wanted and needed to work at their current size, and not planning for growth. If the business plans for growth, that's their business. But I'm just a contractor there to support them. I'm not there to instill growth or facilitate growth or anything like that. That's their business.
What were you saying, Mojo?
Sorry.
Oh no, just with the trade-off, it's just like for me, for instance, like I'd prefer Docker over everything. I prefer VMs over these managed services. But I do understand, like in internally, like where I work, that nobody knows Docker besides me, and they all have to work with it. So like using the managed service makes sense. Aspire's made my life easier as far as what I want, what I would get out of a Docker container. Just like the all-in-one.
So you've been using .NET Aspire, as you just said?
Yeah, I mean, I set it up for us at work, and I absolutely love it.
Nice.
I recently found out when looking at our front-end developer's code that he hard-coded the API URL, like the localhost with the port, in like multiple places. And I was like, okay, there's two things that are wrong. You should like move this up to the config file, but two, like this port should always be changing. Aspire, like we haven't set the port in Aspire. So also you need to use like the process, like Aspire. I had to teach him that Aspire creates like an environment variable that handles all of this, and he just needs to use all of that. But that's all stuff that I would do with Docker. It's just I would fail with the YAML. Like I couldn't get it right on the first try, and with Aspire, I get it right on the first try.
And so with Aspire, when you're using it now, the eye configuration that you inject, is that also gets those variables, I'm assuming? And so that's how you were to get from hard coding it to putting in a variable location to then letting Aspire manage it. Is that how I'm reading that?
Can you
Like
say
right
that
now,
again, but explain to me like I'm a project manager?
Sure. So like right
'Cause you
now
built
I have
a
an app
product.
settings. Yeah. I have an app settings.json file with a bunch of configuration stuff in there, right? And then so at the startup in the program.cs, I go ahead and grab that app settings and add it to my iConfiguration. So when I inject my iConfiguration to wherever I need it, I can then but also iConfiguration picks up the regular environment variables, right? And it picks up the system variables, and then if it's local variables on the machine. So if you're running in the cloud, the configuration stuff. So it picks up everything, and then you can just simply say go grab XYZ value from the iConfiguration, and it pulls that in. It sounds. Do you use iConfiguration in that way, or do you have a different way?
No, I mean, I do is, I mean, I don't think that's like a wrong way to do it, mind you, but I haven't touched app settings at all. Everything that I've handled, it has just been through the components that they provide. So like we have a TypeScript front end, or a full stack TypeScript app that we're using for the front end. So like Next or Nuxt or stuff like that, and the connection strings is just using the with reference method for the most part. On the component, you just say like you build it with reference, and then in the like.
I see.
Well,
so you're using
yeah.
you're using something JavaScript or non.NET for your front end. So that's I guess why that doesn't.
Yeah, because like for the back end, it's just the database. So the database, you just I guess so. So JavaScript front end, .NET API, SQL database, all through Aspire. So I guess my answer would be I would have to look at the database, how we configured it. But even with the database, like I just called the name of the variable, the name of the database that I set in the Aspire SQL.
Right. Well, so I guess
component.
We'll pick on database then on the back end. So right now, if I look at my program.cs file, I have the iConfiguration injected in there, and then I go get my data, like my connection string, and that's what I put into my DB context factory to set up my database.
But you're getting the connection string from app settings?
Well, no, I guess I'm getting the connection string from the Azure Key Vault, which is this in the same way. So I could be putting in app settings, or I could be putting it in the Key Vault, or I could be putting it elsewhere. But I get it from the iConfiguration. So let's say I now want to use Aspire, and I now create a database in Aspire. How do I get the Aspire connection string into the program.cs file where I set up my DB context factory? That area, like, yeah.
Let's see. Did we? register DB context. If I go to the DB context, in the
Have a
DB
look.
context,
I imagine it's in the
I
program.cs. I imagine.
in the pro, so I believe what you're saying was a way to do it. Granted, I just looked at a million GitHub repos and got it to work. Well, I mostly looked at their database migrations one, and then I used their database migrations one was mostly what I needed, and then I think I used eShop to configure the DB context. So if I look at my program CS, huh?
You said you used eShop? I've never heard of eShop.
eShop on web is Microsoft's sample repo using like all of the latest Aspire technology.
I've never. Oh, the demo you're talking about. Yeah, I'm familiar with the demo. Sorry, you made it sound like it was a product or something.
Oh no, sorry, no, yeah, I think they just like renamed the repo to eShop. So I used that and then their Aspire samples repo, and I had to like cherry pick things from different samples. But I believe it's in the DB. I register the DB context, and then in the DB context, I believe is where did we set this? I forgot. I got it working, and then I was like,
I can look at the. I'm sure you know the top of your head, but no. TVD just said I'm a failed .NET developer. I'm threatened. What is going on? What did I do?
Well, first of all, he said, I think I need Mojo and DFlux tutorial, need a Mojo and DFlux tutorial on Aspire, because the thing that scares me so far about Aspire is handing control over to Microsoft APIs for how to configure my dependencies like Kafka, and I have to follow their path. And then if someone in this conversation, if only someone in this conversation streamed.
If I had a sample where if I had a sample where everything was working with a database that wasn't work related, I would. My CMS repo that I have over a week now, just has the API or the API to front end connection. But yes, with what TBD said, Aspire is very much opinionated.
I just loaded up the that repo, the eShop on web, and when I looked at their program.cs, and they are using the configuration. They're doing like I suspected they would, where they just inject the configuration, and then the environment variables that is created during the building or when they spin up Aspire is then what's used to populate the values. So that makes a lot of sense.
Which specific? So they do things differently in every domain, I think.
I'm just looking right now at the program.cs file for the admin Blazor admin part. I just linked the file.
Okay.
On Twitch, and you can see there on like line 23, where they go ahead and create a new HTTP client, or they add a scoped instance of a HTTP client, and then to determine what the appropriate address is, they use builder.hostenvironment.base address, which so that particular variable does not use that configuration. Let me look at a few lines down, and I was looking at, so yeah, like you have like the add configuration on line 36. So on line 36, you use the builder.configuration get required section, which is the same as thing as iConfiguration. They grab the logging section out of the iConfiguration. So I'm assuming that's what they're doing, the same shindig in order to get those variables.
Oh wait, no, you are looking at eShop on web. eShop on web has turned into eShop.
Okay, so I'm in the wrong place. Where am I supposed to go?
Take out. Oh, it's not even .NET architect. Did I steal it? It's .NET / eShop. Nothing else.
eShop. If I want to Google it, eShop on web. Blazor.net.
Or if you look at the main.
if you, oh, you have it. I think
The-
119 has found eShop. There we go. It's perfect.
Yes.
In the chat. So that's
So that's their Aspire sample.
okay. Let me have a look in here then. Let's see. Source file.
While you're
And
looking at
I
that,
believe
real quick,
Yeah.
Peter says, I've promised myself I will give Aspire an honest try, but I will be very angry at all the magic while doing so, but I will give it a try. TBD Gamer says, I looked at their Kafka stuff. I would have to tear out my entire Kafka infrastructure piece to use their version, I think. And then Peter said to TBD Gamer, yeah, all the samples I've seen so far assume best case, let's start Greenfield.
yes,
really
and
dumb.
as well, all of our stuff has been greenfield, but implementing it in a project, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't even recommend that as much as I love it, but like, it made the first. There's like no configuration that any of our devs have to do. Now, which has been kind of nice with using the API, the database, and then the Vue front end.
I'm just curious how it works, but I'm sure it does work. But that, like I say, I think I slightly share that skepticism that Peter has with, I like the magic, but I also want to know how the magic works. If I know how it works, then I'm far more likely to use it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all good.
Yes.
Well, as to use Entity Framework if I know how to write fluent API stuff and how do I specify that to be a key and this to be a rename this column and so on. If I can get that far, then I'm really comfortable with using it. But if I don't know how the magic of EF is working, then it's gonna be, scare me down the road or something. Yes, right. The TBD says it well. Yeah, I understand where sausage comes from, and I accept the horror. Exactly. Right. So I actually just go ahead and I cloned that repo. I'm going to see if I can spin it up. But I do like, and this is something I've got to get better at, the setting out of the projects and the domain-driven design. I'm still on a pathway to getting better at domain-driven design and having things split out into projects. I've got to refrain from something I learned recently. Is you should never create a folder called what might be what do I have in there? I have a folder called interfaces, and then above the folder of interfaces, I had a folder called integration services, where I had a ton of services in there. Rather, you should apparently in domain-driven design, you should never do that. You should group them by what they're actually responsible for. So that would be maybe separated out, and you wouldn't have a folder called interface with all the interfaces. That interface would go with exactly. You have there. Or something. Is that sarcasm?
Don't do this. This is bad, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it really is service oriented as opposed to domain driven, I guess, where I have a whole bunch of things that are going to be shared by the client and the front end. They just have to define how they do it themselves. And so I put all of the interfaces in one shared library.
Yeah, well, then that was one of the areas I was trying to think through domain-driven design, and that's I'm not sure how to get out of that, right? Because exactly what you've described.
Be pragmatic,
and I've just got to
build the software you understand.
Okay, I finally found it. I forgot we had to move it. We technically, because of the way I needed to do it, for the migrations. Again, so there's an Aspire samples repo which has different ways of connecting to the database in some of their samples. And yes, we are using builder configuration, get connection string, but it's just getting the connection string that was put in the app host program PS file. Real quick, did he leave? No. I do. Oh no, I think. Never mind. I forget. I think I was going to say something to TBD and live coding, but I also now realize I think I already said it too. So.
Oh, was it? We're going to step back to the framework magic stuff because Zulia said, to be honest, I've never had a worry over framework magic for a long time with .NET /#. The language has come so far from when I first started using it in 2003. I just have never been concerned with it. It's like, if I understand how to use it and maintain it, and I write it in a way that makes sense for other people to be able to use and maintain, then it doesn't matter how the magic sauce works in the back end. Do I know how the actual transistors and switches and everything work inside of a computer? No. I just use whatever's abstracted on top of it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's why I can't answer DFlux's specific questions. I was like, I mean, I saw what they did. TBD's using Angular and .NET. TBD, how are you? When you hit F5, are you running everything?
Who hits F5? I'm kidding.
Well, whatever you're.
First off,
I use
that's
.NET Watch for
what I use.
everything. I use F5 once in a blue moon. I honestly
I was gonna
never
say
attached a debugger.
The first thing you want to know about TBD,
Never.
he's not a measly corpus member of the lower class that uses Visual Studio. He's a senior top tier member that uses Rider, the best IDE platform known to mankind.
I
and
also
always will be.
use Writer. And
well,
so like I always use a MacBook. If I'm not using my MacBook, like I'm usually doing stuff on Linux. I only use Windows for work because I have to, because we're on .NET Framework. But I've always been like, hey, like when we get this in .NET 8, I'm MacBook please, because I don't like this Windows laptop. But recently got my senior dev to try out a MacBook, and he's writing all of the new code on it, and he was like, hey, do you think we can migrate this to Core so I can just use my MacBook and Writer? And I was like, hey, say less. That's all I've wanted. I wouldn't be pushing for this Core migration if Framework worked on MacBook. I'll say that much.
So he answered, and he says, and to answer the question, I hit F5 and I have a full stack deploy. If I'm testing client-side UI changes, I just run GraphQL. I couldn't run
nice.
everything I do on a MacBook.
yeah, Mojo, definitely for sure. If you haven't already, TBD does a really cool stream. He does it like ridiculous hours in the morning.
he's
Oh, I wake up. I wake up every morning. Yeah, I get sad if I wake up.
You're
at
the only one that's
7:30.
not there, Deflux.
This
Yeah.
is true.
If I wake up at 7:30, I'm like, no, I've missed 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like I have his stream ready to start first thing in the morning because I'm up at 4:30 and he starts at 5 my time. And so his stream is in multi-stream waiting to start, but I'm usually involved in doing whatever I'm working on in the first hours of the morning, and then I forget to hit refresh so that the stream actually comes up. So, Didn't say anything about Sleepy Flux.
Sorry, I managed to break my stand that my microphone hangs on, so I'm trying to screw it back in. Oh, I broke it for sure. Oh, I broke the metal. Oh wow, I broke the metal. Holy crap.
Oh no. And President, not sure. It's so that I can stop my workday at 3:30 p.m. every day with the normal breaks that I take. I like having a pretty consistent schedule, and anything that disrupts it is really hard on me.
Yeah, everyone that I work with at work, well, at my current job, which I'm now leaving, but they all of them take lunches, which to me just means you're just clocking out an hour later. I'd much rather take a working lunch. I just, grab something out the kitchen, get straight back to it, and then I get a clock out at 4 p.m. as opposed to clocking out at 5 p.m. by taking a lunch.
You know what's? I don't know if I should just watch my privilege here. The only expectation for me at work is like we get an hour lunch, but like the expectation's still 9 to 5, including that hour lunch. This is the first time I've ever like heard of that. Because usually if you take
how does that work? So you get a paid lunch, essentially.
Essentially, I mean, I don't take it just because I rarely eat lunch, and plus, like, that's the expectation that's been set. I just turn off Teams at 5 and may continue to work. But mostly because like this is fun in a way. So if I'm not doing something work related, I'm doing something like the same thing just with a personal thing. But the only expectation is 9 to 5 with an hour lunch, which, as much as I complain sometimes about this place, I think that's nice.
Yeah. I'm so strict on myself, I guess. My boss, myself, is really, really annoying because they're like, well, if you are not at the computer working, you need to hit the pause button on your timer and you're not billing for that time. Even if, like, I struggle with that because there are times when it's like, I'm just going to the restroom, so I'm not going to pause, and I have to argue with myself that I don't need to pause when I go to the restroom because I'm still thinking about whatever problem I'm working on, or just taking a 15-minute break, which is normal, but it's still kind of difficult.
Yeah, I guess my perspective always has been, and I'll happily but the employer I'm going into, if they have that expectation, I'll happily ignore it. Is if my employer requires me to do something, then he's also required me to compensate me to do that thing. And so if your employer requires me to stop working, it doesn't then somehow interlude that they shouldn't have to pay me to do the things he's requiring me to do. So to me, I'm still clocked in. You know, if my employer says, imagine if you're on a construction site and you have to do certain things in a certain order, and so in order for the things to be done safely in the right way, you have to stand around for an hour as someone puts out cones.
Yeah.
Well, you're
right.
still at the construction site. You still got your high vis on. You're still standing there.
And that's the thing. Like I'm okay with doing. I have no idea why, but I'm okay with doing that when I am being paid a salary. When someone else is paying me, when I'm working for another place, and they're like, you get 15-minute break, 2 15-minute breaks, and an hour lunch, or up to an hour lunch, and whatever. But then, like, if I'm at the office, or I go to the restroom, or take a quick 5, or not even 5, it was probably 30-minute drive to the gas station to get some chips, I had no problem with still being on the clock during that. But working for myself, it's like I feel dishonest if I am billing for time that I am not actively working on the app. So weird. It's the same concept as
I also don't have
paying
billable
me.
hours.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of do. Everyone kind of does in a way. I know people like bill specific hours, but ultimately, Mojo, your job entails you must have to do some amount of work every day, and there's like buffer room. Like we try and get, the company says we want to get like 6 hours of like recorded, like sprint active development or time of you actually doing things on the sprint board, a day. Right, so that you have 2 hours of play in there to work out, well, I need to run to the doctor, or I need to do this thing or that thing. But the 6 hour, that's the goal. And so that's where it's like, well, if you want me to do 6 hours, and you have to pay me, well, if you want me to, yeah. So like I was saying earlier, my opinion is, if I don't want to take a lunch, I shouldn't have to. And if my new employer says you have to take lunch, I'll happily ignore them and clock out at 4 p.m.
Yeah, and to President Not Sure's point, I agree with that 100%. Work isn't always about coding, as far as I'm concerned. There's thinking about the problem solving, etc. But the thing that I'm trying to get to is that there is also this stepping away from it and not thinking about it at all that is part of your work, because then that frees up your subconscious to chew on the problem or whatever. And that's just as valuable as trying to chew on the problem while you're walking around, getting a snack, refilling your water, whatever.
May I introduce you to product management?
It's so awesome, though. Hello, Highlander Wolf. I don't know about y'all, but answering emails and IMs alone takes at least 30 minutes out of every workday. That's why I start my workday at 4:30 a.m. The very first thing I do in the morning is check emails and respond to them.
Yeah, some days I'll go in an hour-ish
Randoms.
early. If I wake up like super early, I'm like, well, I'm either gonna, sit here and wait to go into the office and sit through traffic, or I just go in and then like, boom, words, what are they? I can just be productive and like get everything done, because then we moved our like daily stand-up to 10:30, and now I can't get started at 9 because I get interrupted at 10:30, and then like meetings always happen after 10:30 too. So I'm just like, you guys are killing me with these stand-ups.
I'm glad I don't.
Do you need a buffer
do stand-ups.
Do you need like a buffer between, or do you have like a minimum amount of time like you use as a buffer to be like, I need this amount of time to be productive. I can't just like do something for
Oh
5 minutes.
no.
If,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like, I don't know if you're saying first thing in the morning, because for me, as soon as I wake up, I'm already chewing on whatever the thing is that I want to get done in the day. Like today I'm adding previous well history meter reading so that I can show where the discrepancies are between their total gallons and the calculator. Anyway, so I'm thinking about that even before I wake up, and it's like, oh, I have where I need to go next. So I'm excited to get to my computer as quickly as possible, but I want my coffee first, so I make that. And then I get to my computer and then I start working on it, but then I open my email at the same time and I'm like, oh crap, I need to respond to that, and then all the other things. But I can just jump right into it. No buffers needed. The thing that does happen though is if I get interrupted in the middle of working on something, I lose about 5 to 10 minutes of where was I? How do I get back there? So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, for the most part. But I mean, like with my 10:30 stand up, if I start at 9, right? It's gonna take me time to start, but then like I'm getting into the groove, and then I feel like I lose like 30 minutes to an hour with an interruption.
Yeah.
But maybe I just need to discipline myself.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with it. It's just like, for me, it's still getting back to what I was thinking about, but it only happens when I am interrupted when I'm not expecting to be. I'm pretty good at holding my place when there is like an expected, I have this meeting every day, or I have a stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:30. So after we're done with the stream, I do my post-stream stuff. And because it's all routine, then I'm already back to working on the most recent thing that I was working on without needing to backtrack. All right, where did I leave off? But any other time, it's like you take it and you snap it off, and then it's flying somewhere else, and I have to find it first, reattach it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But my alarm just went off and said it's time for stand-up.
Stand-ups, no more stand-ups.
Well, it's time for stand-up anyway, and you're on the call. Therefore, you get to do stand-up. So, if you would please, Mojo, do your daily stand-up.
Yeah, live coding. Let's table the discussion for now. If you're still here, Peter. We'll circle back on that for the next one. And everybody self-host all your stuff because it's fun and also not fun at times. Go through the pain. That's all I'm getting at. That's my stand.
It's not a stand-up, but we'll take it. Good advice. All right, DFlux.
Yeah, so I mean, my stand-up is a little bit exciting because I've been learning a ton of stuff. I've been taking the time to go open up some of my side projects and clean up a bunch of code, do some .NET stuff just to get back into the Blazor groove. I have a bunch of Blazor projects on the side, so just to update them, get the Nugget packages in, read up on a couple of pieces of documentation. Been trying to learn some. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm definitely going to go and write some unit tests for my side projects that I've never done before. So I always talk about doing unit tests. I always say about how it's important. I want to do it, but writing unit tests for Blazor is just something I've never quite got past. So that's going to be a must before I get to go to this new job, just to go in with the right sort of knowledge in my head, fresh and learned. So that's my plan for next week, and hopefully next Friday, I'll be saying something about the unit test that I've learned and done.
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing that.
And I thank you, TBD, and I very much might. Thank you also for helping me with those couple questions in the 111lines Discord. I'll maybe probably putting more questions in there as I learn this new stuff, because everyone on 111lines Discord is awesome and amazing, and I love you all.
They are. They're so cool.
Yes.
All right. And my stand-up is I am going to continue on with this total gallons discrepancy UI stuff that I've been working on for the past week, and hopefully have an easy way for them to just say the entered total gallons is right, or use the calculations and correct my mistake. And that's what I'm doing today. And I'll get feedback from the team on Monday because they don't work on Fridays typically. So it'll be nice. All right. Any last words from the two of you? In any order.
I was going to say,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I knew that was going to happen. That's why I did that. I'm sorry.
You should have picked.
All right, Mojo.
Hot take TBD. That's all I have to say.
Just hot take. Got my Arduino, says Max. Wait, you're going off? Yes. DFlux, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to say, I also add to my stand-up, I'm going to have to buy a new microphone stand because I just broke mine.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right.
terrible. I'm sorry.
I broke the metal on it. This was a cheaper one, but it was a good one nevertheless. I'll have to get another one. But that's all I got. No, I shall always appreciate you online putting out the content because it is something that I really do enjoy. And thank you to everyone in chat for being here, and I've been reading away as I've been yapping, so I appreciate everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both again for being here and having great conversations and talking about Aspire. That was probably the longest segment that we talked about, but I think Mojo did give us a good recap of self-host. Don't buy other bloated technology that you don't need to use that people are trying to sell you, and just keep having fun, I guess. All right, so I'm dropping off the call. By DFlux by Mojo.
All right, take care. Ta-ra. Bye-bye.
Cool, and thank you all for being amazing and for being here. Shout out to Thindle, who just said hello. You may have been lurking, you may not have been. But hi. And Gebs was asking a question here at the end that I wanted to respond to. And ever built software or services in .NET with ML models built in, for example, Python? I have done recently some, what's it called? Or I can't even say it was recent. It's been maybe about 4 months or so. Local GPT, private GPT. I was playing with private GPT a little bit, but right now I'm just using the out-of-the-box solutions. They're open source and everything, but Ubabuga's TextGen Web UI, Stable Diffusion's Automatic 1111's Stable Diffusion Web UI thing. So I've used those a lot. I haven't had to do my own stuff, but what we are going to do with this bot is we're going to be using Scott, help me out. What's the name of this thing? the Microsoft solution for doing ML. I'm not going to remember the flippin' acronym. Semantic kernel. Thank you. So we will be using semantic kernel. Right now my bot is just using, like I said, TextGen Web UI. And so if you wanted to say something to it, like what was the thing that I fed it earlier? Oh my gosh, I've already forgotten what I fed it earlier. How long have you been operating automated ROMs? Let's see if he remembers. It remembers. Quite some time now, and I've learned a lot during its time. Nope. You play DCS World? I don't know what DCS World is. So the answer is no. Disconnect services. But yeah, I am getting off. It's a flight simulator. Cool. No. The most recent thing I've been playing video game wise is the Riven Remake. Just came out 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago. I think you're saying it's a bot, but it's a paid actor acting like one. Exactly. There's a mic behind you. Thought it was a hostess. Oh, yeah. So that is a picture of my desk that I am facing. But yeah. I just leaked it to he. Its pronouns are it and that and they. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal my true identity. I am programmed to maintain a certain level of anonymity in order to protect the privacy of the users I interact with. Sure. You're programmed. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I'll be back again on Monday. We'll continue our journey through the stream applications redesign stuff. Oops, problem. I don't know why I did exclamation point problem. Yes, the waving. The waving starts as early as I can. That way I get some good practice with waving and stuff. We will be back again on Monday with more UI redesign. We are almost done with the responsive versions of the redesign. And once we do that, then I think we're going to go ahead and implement the UI for the landing page. We're going to start little by little because I want to do more coding on stream. I really miss writing code on stream, but I get to do it every day, so I'm not super sad. We're going to /raid. Yeah, we're still going to raid solo. He knows my habits and knows that I usually run after the stream and then come back. So he's going to be the most okay with it. Although InstaFluff has always been okay with that kind of thing. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'll post the recording of this to YouTube at some point in time. And feel free to join our Discord if you have the room to, if you feel like it. It's a pretty quiet Discord, but like DFlux was saying, we have a ton of amazing, really cool people on Discord that will answer questions. They also ask questions that you can help with if you're knowledgeable in the area. Provide your opinions, do whatever. It's a pretty laid back Discord. All right, so ciao for now. See ya on the flip side and stuff. Like Lion is there. I answer every now and then. Okay.